Hi again, this is the Dangerous Duo talking to you once again. Now, as usual, my sidekick is rather uncooperative. Go on, face the camera. Right, so much for this. Well, I thought since people connect with people, I would share a little bit of what actually led me to online marketing in the first place. I had my first taste of working online in about '06. My husband and I started selling physical products on eBay and did quite well at it for a while, until the market got really flooded and the whole thing more or less fizzled out. It simply was not worth it any longer. But I'd already had a taste of online success, and conventional employment simply wasn't cutting it for me, because earlier in life I was prevented from going with the profession of my choice, namely being a mechanic. I was pushed into something more conventional, which was not at all to my taste, so I seemed to bounce around quite a bit. Later on I turned to bus driving and truck driving, which suited me a lot better, except for the timetable. So I suppose that on some level I will keep driving large vehicles in some form or another part-time, simply because it's great fun. And for me it's something to be really proud of, to say I've got a driving license for pretty much everything there is on the roads. But having had a taste of online business, I eventually got introduced to niche marketing. But without the right kind of guidance, I lacked the motivation to do a lot of content creation, write 20, 50 articles on a fairly limited subject. But this approach led me to join one really good program, Niche Profit Classroom, which I'm still a member of. And there I met Martin Wilkins, who introduced me to Big Idea Mastermind, which is my main project now. I still haven't given up on niche marketing, and as soon as I'm able to kick my boss and say goodbye to full-time employment, I will focus on that some more. But for now, Big Idea Mastermind is my main line of work. Now, the most interesting thing I have learned there is mindset. Interestingly enough, initially I seemed to reject the idea that I needed input on how to basically reinstall new software, that was the most important component to doing well online, or in anything, in fact. It's often said that you should not listen to people who are in a worse situation than you are. And it turned out that I had been listening to someone who basically hated being alive. And I had been taking directions from this person most of my life and just couldn't understand why I wasn't getting anywhere. Now, I don't wish to be disrespectful or ungrateful to someone who did their best and with the best intentions, but I have since then, or over the last few years, realized that I really need to give myself new software along with the techniques that I'm learning in connection with online business. When I first signed up with Big Idea Mastermind, I thought I had the mindset. I thought, I've signed up, I'm obviously not settling for a miserable life. That alone shows that I've got the right mindset. But this is actually not the case. It is important to get rid of uh, old imprinting of old thinking habits and change one's perspective, because this is what you pass on to your prospects. That's how you come across. And if you have been used to being miserable and hating your everyday life, then that is what will come across, and desperation is not attractive. So this is pretty much it for today. A little bit about me. I would like to share that mindset is really important, and since I accepted a few weeks ago that I need to address my mindset, even though I am willing to live differently, I still need to give myself new tweaks. Since then I've made major progress, surprisingly so. Since then I've actually decided to do videos which I never intended to do in the first place. Now I'm actually liking it. So for what it's worth, I'd really like to put this out there to anyone watching this and encourage you to push yourselves and not tell yourself, I can't do this, or I'm not made for that, because most things are nothing but learned behaviours or thought patterns. So, well, keep watching The Dangerous Duo. Tomorrow I thought I would share a little bit about how to trick yourself into doing videos if that's what you find hard to do, and then over the weekend I'll see what else will come up. Whatever you do, don't mess with us. So much for tonight. Bye.